What's up, everybody? My name is Brandon McCollum, also known as B McC, and this is Nice Minds. I'm with a very, 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 very special guest today, and once again, we're finally in person. We're at Gravebomb Studios with my dude, Bob Lindberg.
Thank you, B. Yep, it's a blessing.
It's so good to see you, man.
I know, right? You too, yeah.
Hell yeah. So we are at your studio, your home studio, where
Yeah.
you make the magic happen.
Yep, right, yep.
So we've known each other for probably a long time, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
I've
probably been a decade, if not more.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've known of you, and I met you a few times back in the day because I know our brothers went to high school together.
Yeah. Yep.
You're a bit older than me, so we never went to school together, but we have tons of mutual friends because we're both from the Grove area, and then we discovered like 3 or 4 years ago that we're neighbors.
Yeah. That's because we just became neighbors when I moved into this house in 2016.
Oh, that was 2016.
Yeah.
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 So
Otherwise, I was downtown,
okay.
living in a loft.
So yeah, I mean, I remember seeing you at shows like all over the place and stuff. We'd always bump into each other at shows.
Yep.
I think I definitely remember seeing you at the Fine Line one time, and I remember talking to you outside of that. What is your history with music?
I started playing saxophone, or alto sax in 6th grade, and then when I was 12, I picked up guitar and a little bit of piano. And when I was 19, I played almost every day saxophone and guitar. But then when I was 19, I gave it all up to start writing religious horror novels.
Oh, damn.
So yeah, I put down music altogether. I was writing 10 hours a day. And my parents were like, okay, you're not getting any of your books done. You got to go to school for something. So I was like, all right, I'll go for recording. My background in music was I never had any interest in recording because I knew the theory behind everything really well. Whenever I'd play something on the saxophone or the guitar, I'd have it mapped out in my brain on how I played it. I'd have all the notes and timing and stuff mapped out, so I didn't need to record to remember anything. Everything I like to play, I just play out of memory.
That's crazy.
So yeah. So yeah, I didn't get into recording or engineering until I was 22.
Oh, okay.
22 is when I went to IPR back in 2003, and yeah.
That's crazy. So yeah, you went to IPR like right after it started, really, right?
Yeah, there wasn't even a fourth quarter at IPR. The first round of students was only on the third quarter.
That's
when I was in my
crazy.
first quarter. So yeah.
Yeah, because I started at IPR in 2014, so that would have been 11 years after you.
Yeah.
So I got a way late start. So I mean, yeah, because you went to IPR and then you got working on projects pretty quick, didn't you?
Yeah. Yep. I got hired at MPR.
Oh, okay.
I did the Pro Tools certification in 2004. It's version 6.
That's crazy.
I got certified on version 6.
That's crazy. I don't even know if they're going with versions anymore. I think it's just like
right,
2021 now or
yep.
whatever. They're just doing it by the years. That's crazy.
Yep.
6, I can't even imagine. I think I got started on 10. When I first started hanging out with you, I can't remember, but you were like, you had some manual that you were like reading through. So I know that you just hella just study audio like crazy.
Yep.
And I mean, I know that you back when you went to IPR, there were big wigs still there, like Tom Tucker.
Yeah.
And
yep.
So you learned from like the big guys, the big guns.
Yep.
Rest in peace, Tom Tucker.
And rest in peace, Jackie Robinson.
And Jackie Robinson.
About him?
Yep. Yeah. Actually, me and Mingy we graduated high school at the same time. For everybody that doesn't know, my friend Mingy, we graduated from high school at the exact same time, and we ended up touring. We were both going to go to Minnesota School of Business for their audio program, and they were like sister schools with IPR or whatever at the time. And we were taking our tour, and the guy giving us the tour actually found out about Jackie Robinson's passing as we were taking the tour.
Oh, back in 2004.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. That was the exact year. So he found out about it. Like, I can't remember even how it went, but he was like, holy shit. I can't remember
Yeah,
like
oh my God.
how he had heard or whatever, but it was like
Did he
as we
cry?
were he looked like he was about to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I I
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly how it went, but it was like as we were taking the tour.
Yeah. Wow, yeah.
So yeah, so that was
Yeah, no, Jackie Robinson was the sole reason why I was able to graduate. 'Cause I had accumulated 4 felonies in one evening the night before the last days of IPR. And so I was in the hospital for a few weeks, and I got out and I met with Jackie Robinson, and my mother explained to him like, hey, this is a medical issue, like it was a mental health crisis that happened, but it was all said and done, and my mother told Jackie Robinson about that, just kind of recapping what happened and whatnot. Jackie Robinson just stood there and or sat there in super concern, like caring concern.
mhm.
And he called up all my teachers like, "Hey, you're gonna let Bob take his finals, and we're gonna graduate Bob right now." And
Wow.
so I was like, and I had never met him before,
Yeah.
and I heard people saying they hate him, not hate him, but he was really hard on people for their work, like
Mhm.
the students. I knew right away. I was he wouldn't say that people suck. He'd be like, "Do it faster, do it better, da da da," and he kind of got under people's skin.
Yeah.
But I was like, he's the only real opinion here because we're in recording school. We're not good,
Right.
and just on. I never had a class with him. He never stood over me while I did anything. But just him doing that, and me seeing him do that to other people, that was a game changing mentality.
Yeah, I
Like, okay,
bet.
when I get in the industry, I need to know how to do this and this and this and this and this, and there can't be any hiccups or nothing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to get good. I got to get fast, and I got to get good. All that was from Jackie Robinson
Wow. That's
and Tom
crazy.
Tucker. I didn't even for the longest time I didn't even think he knew me or my name or anything. I had recorded a bunch of Tom Tucker classes at the old Master Mix on mini disc where I had microphones in my ears and I was recording, and I've listened back to them, not a lot, but I've had them. I mean, I recorded them in 2003.
Mhm.
I probably listened to each of them 10 to 20 times. They're over an hour long. But when I listen back, Tom Tucker is constantly saying, "Bob, patch this up. Oh, good job, Bob." I was like, he did know my name.
That's what's
Wow.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So that was cool. I was really, really bent out of shape when Jackie died, and then again when Tom Tucker died.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
They were key.
yep. Yeah, I
Yep.
never met either of them. I mean, I think I did meet Tom Tucker when
Yep.
Mingy went there because I was always at IPR when Mingy was going to school there because he was always recording me.
Yeah. Yep.
Because
Yep.
I didn't engineer back then.
Yep.
And yeah, so I never met him, but I knew who
Oh.
he was because he was a legend. And yeah,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah. Yeah.
just to hear about his passing, I mean, even not knowing him, I just knew that how much of a loss that was to the industry, you know.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Totally. Yep. Yeah.
So after you graduated from IPR, you went on to work with some like heavy hitters. I mean, you've worked with everybody from like all the rhyme sayers pretty much. Like
So
you've worked with
yeah,
a lot of
I worked with
them.
like Toki Wright, and yeah, I did some stuff with Doomtree and Rhyme Sayers. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Who else did you really work with? Like who'd you really like cut your teeth with?
God, I've worked for literally thousands of different people at this point.
Really?
Yes.
That's crazy.
A
That
lot of, not even including Winterland, but like, yeah, I've worked for like 500 different. I've completed almost 100 records in the last 15 years, where I
wow.
did everything, everything engineer wise, like
Wow.
recording, mixing, mastering. I've put out probably over 100 of those, and that's not including like just albums that I did a couple to few songs, like one song.
Yeah,
I've probably had my hands in about 500 to 600 projects, give or take.
that's crazy. And I mean,
It
look,
might even be way more, because yeah,
I
I was
bet.
busy.
Cause yeah, even like I come to find out like later on, like because we didn't really get to know each other like we said till like
Yep.
2016, 17.
Yeah, yep.
But like I find out that you did like a lot of my favorite like classic records.
Yes.
Like you
Yep.
did that Interlock compilation, right?
Yeah, I did. To Call It
Yeah.
What You Want. Yes, I
Yep.
did. I did that in its entirety. Yeah.
That is like a classic like compilation to me, and
Yeah.
I
Awesome.
realized like later on that you did that shit. I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
holy
Yeah.
shit! Like I know like a lot
Yeah.
of that project from front to back because that had like what like Golden, that had like
Yeah.
Cancer,
Yep.
that
Yep. Right.
had like, I think like Dessa was on there.
I think I can't remember, but
Probably
probably
like
yeah.
Desdemona I think was probably on there too, and like
Hmm.
Carnage I think was on there.
Yep. Yep.
Um, that's crazy, man. Yeah, you've been a part of a lot of fucking heavy
It's
hitter
been fun. Yeah.
projects.
Yeah. 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 No, I worked with Mike Realm, who was
Okay.
the DJ for the Blue Man Group,
Oh, word.
and then Jeff Tortora was a drummer for the Blue Man Group.
Crazy.
Dylan Parker lined up Jeff and Mike to record drums at my house in Burnsville.
That's
And
crazy.
then a couple days later they got me and Dylan and like one other person, probably like Dylan's fiance or wife at the time or whatnot. But they let us in, or they gave us free seats to the Blue Man Group in St. Paul, and we got to go backstage with them, and we got pictures of all that. So yeah,
Damn, that's
Jeff
crazy.
Tortora is like one of the top 100 drummers like ever.
Wow.
He's insane. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was yeah. That was when I was in Burnsville and my whole basement was a facility. The garage was like the lounge, and we had a multi-room like control room, performance area, vocal booth.
Nice.
Yeah,
At your old place?
it was dope. Yeah, my buddy
Crazy.
Aaron spent a couple years and about I think he spent like $20,000 on
Damn.
just sound, not acoustic treatment, but just soundproofing for the
20
basement.
grand just on
I think it was either
soundproofing?
12 or 20. Yeah, I think it
Wow.
was. Yeah, somewhere between 12,000 and 20,000. I think it's closer to 20. But he did it so that he could have his band play in the basement, and you don't hear anything outside. So
Damn.
yeah, his drummer would play through a PA with the kick and the snare, or maybe just a kick through a PA, and then all their amps and the vocal PA and whatnot. Like it was loud. You walk down to
Yeah.
the street, you can't hear anything. Even with the
Damn.
garage door open, like the outside door,
Yep.
if the door into the house is closed, nothing. And that was the beauty of it. We could record or play music all hours, and yeah.
Damn, that's
So yeah, yeah, I
crazy.
recorded probably I like 20 or 30 different bands down there. If like bands like drums,
Mhm.
guitars, bass, vocals, keys, all that stuff. I think I mic'd up a kit like 50 different times in 6 years.
That's crazy. That's something I need more experience with. I only have
Yep.
a little bit of experience with live band stuff because I'm a hip
Yeah.
hop dude. I'm very like much like in the box type of dude.
Yep,
So
yeah.
I want to get my hands more on like band stuff and like
Yeah.
outboard gear.
You know my brother, right?
Yeah,
Eric?
I've
Yeah,
met him
you've met
briefly.
him, yeah. He's in a band.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we did his record at Winterland.
Isn't is Jack Lund his drummer?
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah,
thought. Yep.
yes. Yep, yep, right.
That's crazy. Yeah, because I've known
Yep.
Jack Lund since he was like probably 12.
Yep. Yep, I love Jack.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, we go way back. That's nuts. Jack was like really good friends with my brother and
Yeah.
like from like middle school up until like high school and shit. And they graduated together and stuff. So, and I think my
That's
brother
cool.
graduated with your brother too.
Yeah.
I think I want to
Yep.
say they were in the same grade. I think that they
Mhm.
were friends a little bit, but I don't know if
Yeah.
they like really
I
knew
met
each
your
other.
brother at my brother's house in uh South Minneapolis. 46th?
Really?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I might
Wait,
have met you there too. Do you remember? It was kind of a party house, but they, held it down. They
maybe.
had the band practice space in the basement.
Wait, you that was 46th?
Yeah, it was 46th and 1st, right off the freeway,
Oh,
like
okay.
right off 35W.
Crazy. Um But yeah, it's crazy. Like it's a small world because and then you ended up knowing like Analyrical.
Colin.
Yep.
Yeah, I love Colin. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
he's a
Analyrical's my
homie.
boy, yep. And I
Yeah,
think he was the one that actually told me that you lived by me. I think that
yeah,
was the connection, like,
yes.
because you were
He was
working
going to
with
see
him.
you, and then he GPSed.
Yep.
He's like, "Oh, Bob's like a mile away."
Yep. That was
Yeah, yeah,
crazy. And yeah, I can literally like it's I can walk from here basically and
yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
nuts. So like I mean it takes me 3 or 4 minutes to drive here.
Yep,
Like it's crazy. It's super dope. I love the fact that you live there and they can't see it because it's right off the screen, but you got the board that is my favorite board that
yep.
I
The D
used
command.
at
Yep,
IPR. I
yeah,
love the D command. I would love to get my hands on one of those one day.
yeah. They're cheap now.
Yeah,
You can get them for like $2,500.
I'm sure one of
Yeah,
these days I'll probably grab one
I
because
paid 7 for this one over a decade ago.
oh damn,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, because
It
those
was
are
used. They were used ones were still going for like 9, 10,000
damn.
back in 2010.
Yeah, because they're like
Yeah.
obsolete now. Basically, they're
Yeah.
like not
They'll be
even.
compatible for a while though.
Will
Like
they?
yeah, the icon boards because I think it's because they're so expensive initially,
Yeah,
then they're just going to make them compatible forever.
yeah. So yeah, I remember when I first came over here, I was like, damn, you got a D command in your house, bro.
Yeah,
Like I was like so
yeah,
impressed
yeah.
off of that. I
Yeah,
was like, holy shit.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, just like based off of that, I'm like, you're the coolest motherfucker I've ever met, dog.
Right?
Like
Yes.
hell yeah. And I just remember I mean, like literally, like you just have been the homie, man. I mean,
Yeah.
cause I would come over here and like,
Did
I'd be going through some shit and we just have
Yep.
like deep conversations. We'd maybe
Yeah,
like
yeah,
listen
yeah.
to some music that you've been working on. You maybe show me some
Yeah,
mixes,
yeah.
but then we just talk for like an hour or two, like and just kick it.
Yes. Yep,
And
yeah.
we've had some of the best conversations
I know, right? Yeah.
and a lot of our conversations have consisted about like mental health and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just because like I mean, like with me, like my mental health is like I've just had extreme anxiety and extreme
Yeah.
depression all my life
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just different stuff like that. And then you talk about your schizophrenia.
Yeah. That's
Um
the reason why I got into audio actually.
oh yeah.
Well, and
Talk about
it wasn't
that.
even here's what happened. I was 22 and I was ending 1 year long uh not treatment. It was an experiment, a medication experiment. I was out at NIH in Bethesda, Maryland, the National Institutes of Health. I was out there and for 11 months, and the music therapist was always like, I'd go on outings with the nurses and whatnot and the other patients, and I'd buy CDs and I'd have like 3 songs to tell the music therapist about. And she was like, Bob, you're very passionate about the music you listen to. And she was like, do you ever get into recording it? And I was like, no. Because, like I said, I could memorize everything that I played, just
Mhm.
kind of map it out. But then she brought me to her studio in Baltimore. And this ponytail guy named Doug, I was there for about 5 hours just picking his brain. And they had a big board and everything. And all the job placement surveys that I did,
Mhm.
that I failed miserably. Like they said I should be a biochemist. It's like, no, I can't go to school for that.
Yeah.
I'm not a good student. So I was drilling Doug with these questions about job placement, and he was answering them all. So it's like, yep, I can do this.
Oh
I can
wow.
take meds, and I can, because he said it's very flexible schedule. You learn something new every day. Da 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 da. And I was like, cool, I could actually do this and not want to kill myself. you
Right.
know,
So when were you first diagnosed with schizophrenia then?
17 in high
Okay.
school. Yep, yeah. I actually ran away right around the time when I was supposed to take meds. I stole my dad's car. I was 17 in the 11th grade. I stole my dad's caddy and just drove cross country. And yeah, when I came back from that, there was a lot of microscopes and magnifying glasses on my mental health.
Wow.
So yeah, yeah, yeah. I ended up stopping going to school at Maple Grove Senior High halfway through 11th grade. Well, then in 10th and I got my driver's license right when high school started in 10th grade. I went snowboarding. Every day there was snow on the ground, and the vice principal would try to physically get in my way. I did it every day. Every day at 11, I would leave.
Oh
And
yeah.
so Mr. Zaffi tried to physically get in my
I
way.
remember Mr. Zaffi.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was still
yeah.
there when I went there.
Wow, yeah, yeah. No, he would physically get, but he couldn't grab me or
He was a
physically stop me.
dick.
It kind of was, yeah. Well, when I ran away, in 11th grade, I just, after driving cross country for a week and a day, I just showed up at school at 7, right in time for classes.
Yeah.
As I'm walking in the door, people are looking like, oh shit, Bob's back. 20 steps later, everyone's silent, just looking at me like, oh my God. Because I had told only one friend that I wasn't going to come back alive.
Oh wow.
Yep. And so he told everyone about that, and everyone was very frightened. And this was 1997, or
Right.
yeah, like, so there was no GPS. There was no, they couldn't track. All they could track was when I used my cash card. That's it. And that's how they know how far. I went almost all the way to Montana. And then I was
Wow.
like, I looked in my trunk. I was like, I didn't bring my snowboard. So I came driving all the way back through like Iowa, down to Chicago. I actually drove through Chicago when a riot was going on at like 2 in the morning. Or no, it was like 4 in the morning. There's fires all over the place, and I had to run about 8 stoplights because I stopped at one, and people swarmed the car and were punching the windows and stuff.
Oh wow.
I was 17, like in preppy clothes,
Right.
driving a really nice Cadillac down that, and yeah. Another event happened where I almost got in a really bad traffic accident, and then I was like, okay, I almost died. Now I want to live. I'm gonna go home. So I stayed in
Damn.
I stayed in a motel in Alexandria, and got cleaned up, and then I left at 5 in the morning and was in Maple Grove Senior High at like 7:30 or 8. Whenever people file in.
Right.
So yeah.
So I mean, to me, like, so how did they find out from that you were schizophrenic then? Because to me, that just sounds
I
like rebellious teenage shit.
Right. No, it was right. Well, it was right around that time. Uh, yeah. I can't remember if I was supposed to be on meds or if I got put on meds right after that. But yeah, no, there's a lot of things. When I got diagnosed when I was 17,
Mm-hmm.
and when they found the diagnosis, they were like, "Yes, now we can deal with it." It was apparent that I had symptoms ever since early elementary school.
Wow.
My second grade teacher used to have me send notes home to my parents, and I stopped giving them to my parents because they were all. If I were to look back and read some of those, they were all regarding internal stimuli.
Wow.
It's all like stuff that I said and did based on internal stimuli.
So what
Like
does that mean exactly? Like what's
like internal stimuli would be like hallucinations
okay.
and yeah, distorted thinking. So yeah, just things going on inside the brain
Mm-hmm.
that are not happening anywhere out, but it feels like they're happening outside the brain.
Wow. So if you don't mind me asking, like, so what
hmm
kind of like things have you hallucinated and saw?
well, I what's good, fast forward to now,
Mm-hmm.
I've been on a medication that has wiped out 99% of my hallucinations.
That's amazing.
It's beautiful. It's very toxic, so they got to test my blood
Yeah.
every month. Even now, I've been on it for a couple years. But I mean, yeah, I didn't want to take it. They offered it 20 years ago, but then right away they're like, no, he's got a tendency to take all of his meds as
Mm.
a suicide attempt. If I did that with this med, I would die,
Oh yeah, I'm
and
sure.
and that's why I never wanted to take it.
Right.
But my psychiatrist said that that's the big gun. If
Mm-hmm.
it'll work physically, it'll work mentally. And when my grandmother passed away a couple years ago, that was icing on the cake. Both my grandpa and my grandma on my mom's side went out like sun coming up, birds chirping, just family all around. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna try to do that instead of committing suicide when I'm like 45 or something.
Right.
And so yeah, I started this med, but I mean, I was very under medicated for
Mm-hmm.
about 5 years prior. I was just on 2 meds, and only one of them was an antipsychotic. And yeah, I would see like figures beam down from the sky when I'm walking my dog and run
Really?
at me, like almost in my regular vision. They'd be like right there. When I'm looking this way, they'd be like right there, and I could make out what they were doing and everything. Just blurb people coming down and running at me. That would happen about 30 times every time I walked Zuki.
Wow.
Yep. And then whenever I hear the phrase in my brain, it'll be like someone is behind me, literally saying, "Don't think about that shit." When I
Mhm.
hear that, I'm like, "Oh fuck." I'm in for at least a half hour of a lot of hallucinations.
Really?
Yes.
So is it something that just like triggers them or
Stress triggers
stress?
them.
You've been through some shit, dude.
Yeah. I've been hospitalized about 15, 20 times in the last, uh, I mean, it's been very few and far between in the last decade, but the decade prior, like from 1998 to 2004, I was huge problem with the mental health courts.
Wow.
So yeah, like suicide attempts, and yeah. But I mean that's so those are my peers. You
Mhm.
know, people that have done music their whole life and are really good at it and
Yep.
whatnot. I mean, you can't really compare.
Right.
You know, there's no comparison just because. Yeah, like what I said, when I was 21, I was in a hospital out in DC.
Wow.
When like everyone's out drinking and getting their feet wet with bars and stuff.
Yep.
No. And that's kind of a benefit to I'm staff at a treatment center now.
Yeah. So talk about
Yep.
that. Yeah. So you.
Yeah, so we got a guy that was a drug dealer in Chicago for 30 years. And but now he's like totally reformed. He's like 60 years old now. Big tough dude. Uh so for street stuff, like living on the streets, drugs,
Mhm.
stuff like that, he's the go-to for that. And then if people for the residents in the house, like if they're he can give them a ton of advice about just how to get out of that life and move forward because he's an example of that. And then me, I've got the whole mental health spectrum covered. People can talk to me about their mental health situations and stuff like that. So I was driving around in the van with some of the residents last winter, and they were talking about all the different facilities in town. And I asked them, "Hey, where does the one we work at, where does that come into play?" And they said, "Because you have that other guy, the drug dealer guy, ex drug dealer from Chicago, then you have all the like streetwise chemical addiction. You can go to him, and for all the mental health stuff, we can go to you, Bob." So the place I work at kind of sets us apart in the residents' view, because we have that guy and they have me. No other place has either of us,
Right.
or like a position like that.
Wow.
So yeah, that's a blessing.
And so you've been doing that, and you give speeches as well, right?
Yeah, yep. I'm a speaker for NAMI's Speaker Bureau.
So when you do that, do you talk about like your experiences and
No, nope. For 5 minutes I do,
oh, okay.
but the Speakers Bureau, they have like a whole spiel that you got to go through, and I kind of give my own input.
You and I both work in the mental health field.
I think you've been doing it for longer than I have actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What year did you start?
It's late 2012. So like,
Yeah, I didn't get into healthcare stuff till 18.
oh wow.
Yeah.
That's
Like
recent.
jobs, public speaking I was doing,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, I didn't work at a facility until 2018.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's crazy.
And I actually worked at the Warm Line. It's like a crisis line for mental health.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
So the people that you give these speeches to are they all like mental health patients then or
No, it's mostly families.
oh, okay.
Or I've talked to the police probably close to 30 times
Oh, wow.
for CIT training, crisis intervention training.
Okay.
Yep. I go there on week 12 of 14 and just, it's another little spiel we got to do, but it's based on our story. That was called In Our Own Voice.
Okay.
IOOV. I don't do it anymore because the last time I did it, there was a guy named Jeff Ashfall that was supposed to be with me 2 or 3 of the times. He didn't make it, and on that third time, I was like, "Fuck, is he okay?" And then I was laying awake one night, and I just looked for him on Facebook, and I found a page said looking for Jeff Ashfall. It was on the news. He has 2 grown up kids, a son and daughter, and a wife. And I had done 3 public speaking gigs with him prior. Well, I looked at the thing, and they found his body in the Mississippi River.
Oh my
And
god.
so I didn't do the other 2 next things. They weren't even with him, but I was like, I'm done with In Our Own Voice. In Our Own Voice is 2 speakers. Speakers Bureau is just 1. So I was like, yeah, I'm not doing In Our Own Voice ever again. Because if I do it with
Wow.
someone and they die, like that's yeah. We're
Yeah.
supposed to be models. We're supposed to be like
Right.
figures of success. And when he did that, I was like, yeah, I'm not doing public speaking hardly at all anymore.
Wow.
So yeah, that was very very traumatizing.
I bet.
But if they have the Nami Walk. Have you heard of the Nami Walk?
No, I don't think
Like
so.
thousands of people get together at Minnehaha Falls and walk a 5K. They have a lot of teams. Like people will form groups and have teams, and they make shirts for their team. I'm actually wearing one right now.
Oh yeah? Nice.
Yep, but they have these teams for people who have mental illnesses. But yeah, yeah, that's my
Oh, nice.
sister
Yeah,
had these
I've seen that
designs
little
made.
character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Nice. So when you say you talk to police about like crisis intervention,
Yeah, it's to educate police on
that's
how
what's
to
up.
treat someone that's having a mental
That's
breakdown.
what's up. I feel like we
Right,
need
yes.
more
Well,
people
there's
like that.
there's 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 a fine line that's kind of smeared between if someone's freaking out on meth, it'll
Right.
appear to be the same and it'll have nothing you say to them will affect them. If they're on meth or something or bath salts or whatever, there's nothing you can say to de-escalate that. If someone has a mental illness, there's a couple questions you can ask to diffuse them. The bottom line is meth-induced psychosis is a whole different animal
Yeah, I bet.
from organic schizophrenia.
Yep.
So
I
yeah,
can't
yeah,
imagine. Yeah, I mean there's good can meth induce schizophrenia?
yeah. It can.
Oh
Well,
wow.
it can, but most of the time, if they stop doing meth, their psychosis goes away.
Right.
So yeah, yeah. If people have a family tree of schizophrenia and they do meth, and if it's in their genetics, that could very well trigger permanent organic schizophrenia
Oh
or
wow.
acid too.
I've heard that.
Yep, yeah,
Is it
yep.
is it from doing too much acid or is it?
No, it's all chemistry.
Oh, okay. So it's
I
just
mean,
like
you got to
the
do a lot, but a lot of it is chemistry.
okay, so is it like the wrong acid, like a bad batch
No,
basically that
it's
can do
based
it?
on your genetics
Oh,
mainly. It's like
okay.
if you got
So if you
schizophrenia in
already
your
have the
blood,
gene, then it get like
but a lot of people have that, but they never awaken it because they don't ever do meth or acid or anything.
interesting.
So yeah, yeah. And then there's people who never do it. Well, I did speed a couple times when I was a teenager, but that was way after the fact. I was self-medicating.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it often at all. I was never addicted to anything like that.
Right.
But yeah, it was actually smoking weed. I had to stop smoking weed right after I started because that made all like when I was in second, third grade, I used to walk around thinking I was in a spaceship because of what I was hearing.
Oh wow.
But it was friendly. It was on my side. When I was in elementary school, when we lived in Eden Prairie, we moved from there in third grade, and there's lots of times where I'd stay awake all night, feeling like I was listening to the planets talk to each other.
Wow.
Yeah, it would be very hard to fall asleep, but it wasn't like a bad thing. It was like a larger than life inspiration thing, you know.
Yeah.
And but yeah, then in 10th grade, I smoked weed a couple times. I remember the first fucked up thing that happened that was scary was we were driving. I was in the passenger seat with one of my buddies. We're driving at night. I was convinced there's a robot like 100 feet tall behind these pine trees, and I was like going like this, like, oh shit, it's gonna get us. And then we drove
Damn.
past the tree, and I was like, and there's nothing there.
So did people just kind of assume that it was like like imaginary friends when you were that age, or
No, I didn't voice any concern until the shit turned on me, and they'd say things directly to me. My symptoms would that were insulting
Mhm.
and offensive, and I'd also hear them talking that I wasn't supposed to hear. Like they're, oh, we're gonna get him on this date. He's got to do this. He's got to do this. Da da da. And they're like, no, we'll catch him here. We'll do this. And then
Oh
because he
wow.
knows about this, he knows about this. We got to get rid of him. So I was paranoid walking around everywhere. I had headphones on everywhere I went when I was in like my early 20s.
Yup.
And now it's evolved to where I can't even wear headphones in public.
Wow.
I wear headphones down here and that's it.
Yup.
Cause I'm still. It's like it flipped. Like I couldn't be without headphones at first,
Mhm.
and now it's like if I put headphones on, I'm afraid there's gonna be like bombers and active shooters.
Right.
I'm gonna be oblivious to it because I got headphones on. So I never wear headphones anymore.
You're afraid that your symptoms will just kind of pop up again?
Yeah, well, I'm afraid that shit'll hit the fan, and I won't be able to deal with it because I got headphones on.
Oh, okay.
So the symptoms are gonna happen regardless, but just it's more a paranoid thing
Mhm.
than a hallucination thing.
Oh, okay. So the medication that you're on, that just like completely stops a lot of that?
Almost.
Okay,
Yeah,
pretty
I go
much.
days without hearing shit, which
Wow.
is beautiful.
Yeah, I bet.
I tell my friends and coworkers I'm Super Bob now.
Yeah. Hell
So
yeah.
yeah. I made it. Like that's.
That's what's up, man.
But I keep in my back pocket the thought that uh any day now something could flip, and I'd have to go to some kind of center that I'm working at now.
Mhm.
You know, or I might have to go into the hospital again
Yep.
and deal with some shit that's popped up.
Yep.
But I'm doing so good now. It's like
Hell
that
yeah.
seems so far away and it's beautiful.
Yeah, man.
And I got a lot of friends that are really proud of me.
Hell yeah, man. I'm
So
super
yeah.
proud of you, man. Like,
Yep,
and
thank
I
you. Yeah,
like
yeah.
I said, like I've always just admired you and like everything that you've been
Yep.
through, and like I absolutely love hearing your stories, and
Yep.
it's super inspiring to see like what you've done for yourself, and like the
Yeah.
life you've created for yourself, and the
Yep,
work that
yeah.
you do and continue to do. I mean, in the mental health space and in the music
Yep,
scene,
yeah,
like
right.
both, like, and that's what's really like it's just inspirational, man.
You heard of Long
Oh
Shot?
yeah, MC Longshot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. When I was working with him, I had he was like front line of my support when I was in and out of the hospital.
Nice.
And so one time we're down in my studio in the basement of a warehouse in North Minneapolis, and I'm all fucking kinds of down on myself. And he that was when the Twin City Hip Hop Awards were going,
Oh, okay.
but there was always fights, so they
Yep.
stopped having them.
Yep. I remember that.
Well, Longshot was like, Bob, he goes, if you look at this event, like at this one event, the Twin Cities Hip Hop Awards, he's like, you don't just work for half the people that are nominated. He was like, you work for half the people that win.
Yeah.
And he was like, I have never known of anyone, not in Chicago, not in Atlanta, not in California. I have never known an engineer that dominates a portion of the industry like that. And I was like, cool. That's cool.
I mean, yeah, you don't really even think about it until it's like
Yep.
somebody presents it to you like that, you know?
Yeah. Well, and when I started stagehanding
Yep.
a handful of years or 2016, I started stagehanding, and this one total newbie stagehand, he voiced how he wanted to be like a recording mixing engineer.
Mm-hmm.
And then my buddy Chris, this kid was kind of talking to me like I didn't know what was up. So my buddy Chris, that was another stagehand in the same banquet room, we were all setting up the room for audio for a corporate event. Chris yells across the room like, "Man, you only wish you had as many credits in Fifth Element as Bob."
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had
Yep.
I had probably at least 15, 20 CDs with my name for the credits.
Yeah. That's
So yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
That's
Maybe more. It
crazy.
might have been like 30. I don't
Holy
know.
shit.
Fifth Element's not around anymore, I don't think. So
No, it's not. Actually just went under last year. So yeah.
was it last? Yeah, it was
Yep.
last year. It was a ways
Yep.
ago.
It was
Yeah.
2020.
But yeah,
Wow,
so
man.
that's an accomplishment. Yeah.
That's insane, man. I mean, that
Yep.
alone is just like, I mean, like I said, like I found out years later, like records that you did. I'm just like, oh damn,
Yeah,
I used
yeah,
to bump
yeah.
that like back in the day. Like that's one of my
Yep.
favorite local albums. So you probably had your hand in like a good chunk of the local
Yeah.
stuff that I was into, but
Yep. Yeah.
back when I was like 19, 20, because that's really when I first like 2004, 5 is when I
Yep.
really started like getting familiar with the local scene. And I think that's when you were like really heavy in the scene, right? And like really like started to
Yeah.
get your chops
Well,
with.
I didn't. I stopped going to shows for the most part. Cause I was like, if I'm mixing and engineering and stuff like that, I can't be at all the shows, especially not drinking or nothing,
Oh
you
yeah, for
know.
sure.
But if I'm at a few shows, then it's like a delicacy.
Yep.
It's like, yeah,
Yeah, I'm the same way, man. I mean, especially, I mean, now there's not shows going on, but like,
right,
but I mean, I think even like when shows come back, like, I'm not gonna be able to go to as many as I used
right,
to,
yes,
and
yep. Well,
because
it's you kind of gotta. It's got to be few and far between when you're like a
right,
mixer, because if you're out at all the shows, it it's not bad, but it's like you should be at home most of the time
right,
on a Friday night mixing on shit and
yep,
just hibernating
yep,
and getting good at stuff. And yeah,
true that. I mean, yeah, especially the last like, I don't know, however many years, I've just become like a homebody, and like
yeah,
in 2020 we
it's
had to be
it's
in.
fun to go to shows
Yep.
that you helped make the CD of, like a CD
Oh
release
hell
party.
yeah.
Those
Yep.
are like the only shows I go to is CD
Yep.
release parties. Yeah,
Yeah, the only shows that I would go to kind of before the pandemic really hit was shows that I was booking, because I was
yeah,
booking a
yep,
lot of
yeah,
shows, between I don't know 2015 and 19. I was booking like tons of
yeah,
shows, so
yep,
those were like the only shows that I really go to, and I felt bad because I wasn't going to a lot of my friends' shows and all that stuff,
right.
but yeah, it's just kind of like it's a balance, man. I mean, when we're in the creative industry, we just we want to support our friends, but at the same time, it's like we got to balance our careers and our
Yep,
personal
right, yep.
life and all that stuff. So it's yeah, man, I totally get that. But I mean, yeah. So what has 2020 like done for, or like has it helped your career
I
at
worked
all?
healthcare 70 hours a week in 2020.
Damn, 70.
Yeah, I worked full
Holy
time at
shit.
HCMC in outpatient, and then I worked 20 to 30 at the treatment center.
Wow, that's a grind, bro.
Did that from November of 18 to July of 20, a year and nine
Wow.
months. So yeah.
But so what was that like during the pandemic? Was that just scary as shit or
Well, no,
what?
we worked at home.
Oh, okay. You
It
could
was
do that at
remotely.
home.
Yeah, all
Oh,
appointments
nice.
were remotely. But the outpatient was all. It was called the Hope Program,
Okay.
and it's all for uh first onset of psychosis.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
all like people in their early 20s, late teens, early 20s, some people a little older. But and it was it's not inpatient, they don't live there,
Mhm.
but it's outpatient. They have appointments with us starting like a couple times a week, and they won't graduate for 2 or 3 years.
Mhm.
Like we catch them, a lot of them when they're in the hospital at HCMC, and then we kind of take them under our wing, and then spend the next 2 to 3 years just kind of coaching them on how to get their life back in
Oh,
order
wow.
once schizophrenia hit.
So with 2020 it was remote, so we just have Zoom calls with these people then,
Yeah,
or
yep,
oh,
yeah,
okay.
or just over the phone. Yep.
And how did that kind of hinder their treatment at all? I mean,
No,
like having to
nope, because
no?
they got to stay home. They A lot of people missed appointments because it was hard to get down, find parking and whatnot.
Right.
So the virtual appointments was really good.
So what are you doing these days as far as like music and engineering and stuff goes?
I still have at least 20 or 30 core clients or groups that I still record or record and mix and master for.
Nice.
So yeah, and that's what I'm focusing on. I'm focusing on my live shit too now.
Sweet.
So yeah, like my dual board
Yep.
DJ rig and
Yeah.
spoken word and stuff like that. Like I want to focus on that.
Yeah, because we were talking about when I was booking shows, we were talking about getting you on some stuff.
Yeah, I
'Cause
wasn't ready,
no, yeah, I know that.
but
I
I
know
will
it's
be
taken a
ready
long
very soon.
time
Yeah, yeah,
for you to
yeah.
kind of get your chops up and like figure
Yep.
out what you want to do. So you got I mean,
It's
how many boards do you have for
2.
that? 2? Because you had
24
3 at
channel. I
one
did,
point,
yes.
right?
Yep. Well, I have like 4 of those boards,
Oh
but I
wow.
only use 2 at a time.
That's crazy. So I mean,
But yeah,
they're
the
they're
rig
these
is like 8 feet
huge
wide.
mixing
Yeah.
boards, like, and you were
Yeah.
talking about like hauling those to shows
Yeah,
to
I
do that
did. I
live.
did do that a few times.
Wow, that's impressive,
Yeah,
man.
I played a pavilion show in Hastings. I got videos of that too. Yeah, I can show you some of that
That's
at some
crazy.
point.
So I mean,
Yeah.
because the way that you were showing me how you do your live stuff, I mean, because you basically have like everything stemmed out in Pro
Yeah,
Tools,
it's a
right?
4-bar loop that
Yeah, so it's a
plays over
four.
and over.
It's
Yeah.
only a 4-bar loop, and you would just like
Yeah,
do you
I
use your
arrange it
faders?
with the faders. Yep, yep.
I was like, damn, dude, how do you
And I
like?
do all the EQ, pan, and effects.
Yeah,
And level. Yep.
and just with the giant boards, you're just like
Yeah.
surrounded by
Well,
boards. Just
I play them like a piano.
yeah, it's amazing.
Live.
It was
Yep.
super
Yeah.
cool.
It's like piano DJ times 20.
And the loops were only 4 bars.
9 seconds. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. They just keep
That's
going. I just bring one in at a
crazy.
time. Bring a couple more in. Pull some out. Pull some more in. Do some cool little EQ shit.
Yeah. So what's your solo moniker name again?
NCD or Nutcracker Dungeonist.
That's the fucking best name ever.
Yes.
How'd you come up with that shit?
I went through a bunch of names in my brain, and then I was like, Nutcracker Dungeonist. And it's funny, because if you look up Nutcracker Dungeonist on the internet,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a bunch of freaking sadomasochist.
I bet. Yeah.
like dominatrix stuff.
Yeah, like
It's
literally
really funny.
cracking nuts and shit.
Yes. yeah. Or the Nutcracker film or play or whatever it is. I don't even know.
Yeah,
That gets
it's
a lot
play,
of hits.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Nutcracker Dungeonist.
That's what's
I
up.
I don't know how I thought of that name, but I was like, that's perfect. Yeah.
Hell yeah. And yeah, you're
Or NCD for short. Just
Yep.
NCD.
So it's almost like, I mean, it's industrial. That's what you would
Yeah,
categorize
it's like industrial
it.
marching music with
Yep.
narrative lyrics.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't
so
sing, I don't rap. I
right.
just
It's a
talk
spoken
shit,
word.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's you use like you pitch shift it a lot and
Yeah,
do,
I
pitch stuff.
put a lot of distortion.
Yep.
But just a
Distortion.
little bit of pitch shifting just to make me sound more
Yep.
mature.
Yeah, it's like
you
a little
know?
bit deeper.
Yeah.
But yeah, like your drums is what struck me. Like you got these
Yeah,
like
the marching
epic
drums. Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
just like massive drums.
Yep.
So man, I really appreciate you and I appreciate our friendship, man. I appreciate you coming on this
it's
podcast,
good.
dude. It's been
Yeah.
it's been dope knowing you, and it's been
You too, yeah.
I haven't seen you in over a year because of the pandemic, and
Yeah.
now that we're both vaccinated, it's
Yeah.
it's a treat to be here, and man, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Any last words?
You gotta come over more.
Oh,
You gotta
definitely.
come over more.
We will for sure. I will
Yep.
definitely be here. Any last words for the people?
No idea. So many, I don't even know where to begin.
Thank you, my dude. Once again,
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
Yeah.
you, bro.
You too. Thank you for having me on here.
Hells yeah, dude.